By a 5-4 vote, the U.S. Supreme Court will not stop the sentencing of convicted criminal Donald Trump to take place tomorrow in New York State. This is the headline for Politico. Supreme Court won't block Donald Trump's hush money sentencing. He wanted them to stop. It's taking place on tomorrow. It was a 5-4 vote. Of course, as you can expect, Clarence Thomas, Sam Alito, Neil Gorsuch, and Brett Kavanaugh, they all dissented from the ruling. Chief Justice John Roberts and Justice Amy Coney Barrett joined the court's 3 Democratic appointees to turn down Trump's last-ditch attempt to avert the sentencing. It goes to show you what kind of these hardcore conservatives that you have here. These people want to somehow extend the issue of presidential immunity or to somebody who ain't even president. That's just how dumb this is, this Supreme Court. But again, it is a 5-4 decision that you have here. And look, the reality, Reese, you have, first of all, I'm going to go to the lawyer on our panel, Greg, first, sorry. Look, you got these right-wingers, Coney Barrett and Roberts, but at least every now and then, Greg, they have some common sense as opposed to these hardcore right-wingers, especially Thomas and Alito.
No, absolutely. You know, and I'll keep this very brief because obviously none of us have read the opinion yet, and I'm sure we all will after this. Coney Barrett is the wild card in this. Isn't it ironic? And isn't it crazy that we live in a world where Amy Coney Barrett is becoming, I won't put John Roberts there because Roberts is an institutionalist. And Roberts realizes that he has destroyed his legacy. And that happened, of course, with Citizens United in 2010. Coney Barrett, can you imagine a right-winger like Amy Coney Barrett may end up over the arc of the next few years being the center of the damn Supreme Court. And clearly what happened here is, those other 4 are wholly owned subsidiaries. If anybody thinks that damn call that Trump made to Sam Alito the other day was about a damn intern, a clerk for him and a job, then you're not paying attention. Those guys are in the tank, okay? Beer Kavanaugh, Harlan Crow's boy toy, Clarence Thomas, and the Christian soldier, Sam Alito, who was on a straight crusade. And Gorsuch, you would think, had a little bit more sense on some issues, but he's in the tank too, because he's got that stolen seat, remember? Although I don't know if Merrick Garland had got there, he'd be any better, because we've seen his great performance in the federal government. But Coney Barrett may not be finished surprising some folk. Anybody paying attention probably shouldn't be surprised by this, but this may be the new 5-4 in terms of any swing votes.
Your thoughts on this, Lauren?
Well, I mean, this is the same Supreme Court that declared this person immune. It does strike me that Judge Marchand, there's something about him that kind of gives me the feeling that he's going to execute a real sentence. But I don't know. I mean, if the president has already been ruled to be, shielded and can sort of do whatever he wants, including, hush money to the tune of $130,000, I'm not sure why we're having this conversation. I think of all the cases against Donald Trump, I actually thought the Fani Willis one was the strongest, and this was actually, I thought, one of the weaker ones, this hush money question, I do think that when the conservatives whine about lawfare, as they call it, this is the case they're talking about. So it's sort of ironic that the case that he will be judged on, in my view, is the least important one. I think the Fani Willis one, with obviously Donald Trump on tape saying things, all sorts of evidence and all sorts of testimony confirming his guilt, I thought was a good case, the Georgia case. But at any rate, we'll see what happens at 10 o'clock tomorrow. I do think Donald Trump has a knack for never being punished and always getting out of trouble. So I don't think anything's going to happen tomorrow. I do think Judge Marchand will probably just be consistent with other defendants, and he just seems to give me a vibe of, I'm going to do my duty here. And if it's consistent with other defendants, then it shouldn't be much time at all, but we'll see.
Listen, even if Reese, even if he suspended sentence, no jail time or whatever, the fact is this here. It is etched in stone above the Supreme Court. Equal justice under law. That's what it's supposed to be. And all of this bullshit. Let me be clear. It is not in the United States Constitution. All of this is based upon a memo in the Department of Justice that says a president cannot be prosecuted. Now, what this Supreme Court did is gave this man extra immunity that does not exist anywhere, okay? So they created case law as a result of this decision. But in this case, he was tried when he wasn't in the Oval Office. The actions he was tried for took place before he was in the Oval Office. So there's no such thing, and there's no way that says, oh, because you got elected to an office, that now means, oh, we gotta stop. So even if you're convicted, we gotta throw the verdict out, throw the charges out. Hell no. You are gonna be a convicted criminal. And that's what it's supposed to be. Now, whether Americans were too stupid to not vote for you, that's on them. But he did it, he was convicted, he earned it, and now, luckily with this, he has to carry it, and he will be known. That's why I made it clear on this show, after January 20th, anytime we mention his crazy ass, it will be convicted criminal in chief, Donald Trump.
Period. I mean, the reality is, like you said, Roland, in what motherfucking world do you get presidential immunity for some shit you did before you was even president? That's crazy. That's crazy. So essentially what the Supreme Court said is, okay, if you're president, you can do whatever the hell that you want to do. But I think maybe they underestimated or overestimated the stomach that the American public has to actually elect a criminal degenerate who's facing an additional 80-something counts across multiple cases. And so maybe, perhaps, if there's a small slither of sanity in the Supreme Court, they're saying, we don't really want people to run for president because they're on trial. Maybe that's the one thing maybe that's the one line that they're crossing, because we know that the sole reason that Donald Trump ran for president is to get out of his criminal liability for all these cases that he was facing. He doesn't give a damn about being president. He doesn't give a damn about the executive actions and the actual governance of this country. He just wanted to stay out of jail. Mission accomplished, but maybe the Supreme Court is trying to say, let's not do this whole thing again when people are running for president just to get out of jail.
And Greg, I've said this consistently. Lauren, you said that the Georgia case you thought was the strongest. I'm sorry. I don't understand why Georgia is not moving forward. I don't give a damn if there's an inauguration. Guess what? That's a state crime. That federal memo has nothing. And I would rather Georgia say, fine, you don't want us to move forward, take us to court. I would rather there be a judicial ruling that says that, as opposed to, oh, no, yeah, we can't move forward. We can't move forward because of the election. Oh, hell no. His ass did it, Greg. He did it.
He did it. He did it. And I think you can probably pull up, it's just an order, so it's just a paragraph. And you're right. I mean, the way you framed it is the way it should be framed. All of this happened when you weren't in elected office. And so, but it's interesting to read the order, and I'm sure you'll read it off in a second. They say that the alleged evidentiary violations at President-elect Trump's state court trial can be addressed in the ordinary course on appeal. And best believe, as you said, Lauren, lawfare is their strategy. They accuse. It's interesting how these people accuse other people of doing everything they do. They are using the courts. They're going to do that. It's going to be appealed. But the second sentence is what's fascinating. Second, the burden that sentencing will impose on the president-elect's responsibilities, which of course was the argument they were making, is relatively insubstantial in light of the trial court's stated intent to impose a sentence of unconditional discharge after a brief virtual hearing. So to the point you're raising, Lauren, it's almost as if they're daring Marshawn to do anything other than basically give him a little tap and go. The guy's convicted. Okay, so he's, as you say, that's going to be hung on him. But it's like they are sending a political, almost like, listen, the guy already said it's really not going to happen to you. So it's an insubstantial burden. So go forward. Finally, I'm glad that we're talking about United States versus Trump, of course, which is the case, of course, where they basically, as Sotomayor said in her dissent, they're going to let this guy do whatever the hell he wants to do. Let the president do whatever they want to do. It almost feels like, in the case certainly of Roberts, and maybe Comey Barrett at this point, because they didn't define the scope of things that a president can do and get away with, they're not walking it back. But it's almost like a Steve Urkel moment, like, did we do that? Yeah, you did. You've torn your place up. These guys are now unbridled, and this might be a hint at them trying to repair something that they've probably broken beyond repair. But that paragraph says a lot, particularly that second sentence.
Go to my iPad. This is, hold on one second, Lauren. This is it right here. It says order in pending case, Donald J. Trump versus New York. The application for stay presented to Justice Sotomayor and by her referred to the court is denied for inter alia the following reasons. First, the alleged evidentiary violations at President-elect Trump's state court trial can be addressed in the ordinary course on appeal. Now, first, what they mean by that is, why y'all coming to us? There's an appeals process in New York State. It's going through. You mad because they've been ruling against your punk ass. So sorry, there's an actual appeal process. Don't try to have us jump the line because you think we're gonna fall for it. Second, the burden that sentencing will impose on the president-elect's responsibilities is relatively insubstantial in light of the trial court's stated intent to impose a sentence of unconditional discharge after a brief virtual hearing. Justice Thomas, Justice Alito, Justice Gorsuch, and Justice Kavanaugh would grant the application. So what they're saying is, Merchant has already said, yeah, you'll get a tap on the wrist. So why your bitch ass coming whining to us? That's really what they're saying. Why your bitch ass coming whining to us? Look, we gonna let your punk ass off. We're not sending your traveling ass to Rikers, okay? We're not gonna have you take your tie off and your watch and your rings and everything and escort you to jail. So shut your punk ass up. Take the damn hit and just move your little bitch ass on. That's really what this opinion is saying. Lauren, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to respond a little bit to what Greg said. You know, I don't think we should lose sight of the fact about what this case is about. Okay, I mean, I get all the other issues therein, but this case is about falsifying business records involving Michael Cohen to pay the hussy Stormy Daniels. Okay, I don't really care, quite frankly, and I'm shocked. The reason I don't care is because this guy effectively, I thought, committed treason on Jan 6, 2021. And Merrick Garland sat there and did absolutely nothing. Okay, so in the grand scheme of Donald Trump, there's a lot to unpack here about Donald Trump that you can prosecute him on. And to me, the Hussey case was not the case they should have went for, okay? So they went for the Hussey case. That happens to be the one that will be, sentenced tomorrow by Judge Juan Merchan. It'll be very interesting to see that. But there are some serious matters around the behavior of Donald Trump. And to me, this is number 5 and 6 in line. So it's ironic that this is the one. So when the Republicans talk about lawfare, this is typically the case they reference. And quite frankly, I don't blame them.
Well, actually, no.
There are more serious cases out there.
But here's the whole deal. First of all, more serious is irrelevant. Because follow me. More serious is irrelevant. If you are alleged to have broken the law, you've broken the law. Let's look at the 4 cases. 1, election interference in Georgia. 2, the election interference on the federal. 3, the documents moving in the classified documents, and then you have this particular case here. The 5th one, I will say, is the civil trial that to Letitia James. Now, here's the whole deal. You can't, we step back. So let's just deal with the 4. Nobody anticipated Fani having her side piece on the case to completely throw that whole thing off track. Okay, so that's 1. 2, a Trump-appointed, incompetent, grossly unqualified judge gets the document case, okay, and she kisses his ass and rules in his favor, and then he fights the Jack Smith one in D.C. Now, those are 4 different cases moving at different speeds at different times. So the bottom line is, it's irrelevant if one is deemed weaker than the other. The reality is, it happened. And so, and this is the, first of all, Republicans, let's be clear. Republicans have complained about all four. All four. They've dismissed all four. It's not like Republicans like, well, you know what? The other three are serious. This is really a joke. But the fact of the matter is this here. What he has been convicted of, it is a crime. Just like what he did with overinflating his assets, that's against the law. We lost in civil. So guess what? If to take his name off, if Roland did that shit, if a black mayor, if a black city council member, if a black school board member did it, guess what? They're going to prosecute your ass for it.
Yeah,
So
well,
I can't.
Can I point out though that Michael Cohen went to jail for this exact same case federally?
Yeah.
So this isn't like this is so frivolous that nobody should have it paid for. A lot of people had criminal or civil liability related to this exact same set of transactions. And so I don't think that Trump should be rewarded because he is such a serial criminal degenerate that we just pull all the cases in the hat and then whichever one we pull out is the one that we actually prosecute. You don't get to have prosecutions deferred because you commit so much crime in so many different jurisdictions. And so I am glad that at least somebody had the competency and the balls to see a case through from point A to point Z because Jack Smith didn't, Merrick Garland didn't, and the whole thing with Fonnie and down there in Atlanta, the shit is on ice right now. And
that was the point Reese just made that long one I was going to say. The difference here is this is the only one that went the distance. Trump and his lawyers were able to stop. They were able to stop the other cases in different stages. The case in Georgia would have went forward if Fonnie hadn't screwed up.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I still get back to this point. The guy could have been prosecuted for treason. He wasn't because nobody had the guts to do it.
But hold up. Nobody having the guts to do it does not have anything to do with Bragg's case in New York City. That's Merrick Garland. Merrick Garland is a U.S. Attorney General. Bragg is a DA of Manhattan. Fonnie Willis is the DA in Fulton County. All you can do is your job. I can't sit here and go, well, if he had done his job, hey, Bragg did his job.
We argue all the time that things are crimes that shouldn't be prosecuted. Marilyn Mosby being a perfect example of that. Okay, we argue all the time that people get prosecuted for things that seem slightly political or like somebody's reaching, a prosecutor is reaching for some reason. All I'm saying is, in the lexicon of everything that happened, he could have very easily been prosecuted for something like high treason.
But Lauren, you keep saying what he could. Lauren, you keep saying what he could have been prosecuted, but in order to prosecute him for high treason, that requires the Attorney General to take the action. He didn't. So the woulda, shoulda, coulda don't matter.
Let me ask you this. Is it working? Did it work?
What do you mean?
All your prosecutions, did it work?
Hold up. Did he get convicted? Yes.
Did it work?
No. Wait. Hold up. What was the? Wait. Hold up. Hold up, Lauren. What was the purpose? Lauren, I'm gonna ask you a question. Bragg? What is the purpose of DA Bragg in indicting Trump? What's the purpose?
I don't know what the purpose is.
No, you're wrong, Lauren. You do know the purpose. Lauren, you know the purpose.
What is 11 days will be in the White House.
Lauren, here's the question. No, Lauren. If you're the DA, wait a minute. If you're the DA and you indict, you get an indictment and a conviction. What's the purpose of filing charges? To get a conviction.
The purpose of filing charges is to get the conviction. But Roland, the fact is, this man is going to be president of 11 days.
Lauren, but see, that's the whole point. See, Lauren, so hold on. When you say it didn't work, that means that you are speaking about a political purpose for the prosecution. What I am saying is the prosecution.
I'm stating a fact.
No, the prosecution by itself is if you broke the law, you get indicted. you are going to get convicted. So from Brad's perspective, he did his job. Brad, as the DA, has no jurisdiction. He has no control what Merrick Garland can and cannot do. He has no, matter of fact, Brad can't, he has nothing to say about what Fonnie Willis can and cannot do. All he can do is his job. He did his job. Great. He got a conviction. Now, if from listening to you, if the purpose was, oh, let's keep him out of office, that ain't why you indict. So bottom line is, he did his job.
Are we really going to pretend that some of these adjudications weren't about keeping him out of office?
Hold up. Hold up. Reese already said it. Did Michael Cohen get convicted?
No,
Wait. Hold up. I'm answering your question. Was Michael, Lauren, it's real simple. Was Michael
You're going to skip over my question. Okay.
Lauren, I'm not skipping your question. I'm actually answering your question. Was Michael Cohen convicted for the exact same crime? Yes or no?
Yeah, Roland.
Okay,
sure.
So if Michael Cohen, wait a minute. So if Michael Cohen was convicted by the Trump Department of Justice for the exact same crime, was that to keep Trump out of office?
All I know is in 11 days.
No, Lauren. Answer the question. I'm holding up two things. I'm holding up hold up, Lauren. Wait, Lauren. Hold up. I'm holding up, Lauren, 1 second. Lauren. Hold Lauren 1 second. Lauren, hold up. Lauren, this is very simple. I'm holding up a Cohen conviction, and I'm holding up a Trump conviction. The Cohen conviction.
And Trump was unindicted co-conspirator. Remember that?
Right. So the Cohen conviction took place on a federal level. It was not, the Trump conviction, the Cohen conviction, and the Trump conviction. So if your argument is that the Trump indictment was to keep him out of office, well, what was the purpose of the Cohen indictment? Because if the Trump indictment was to keep him out of office and Cohen was convicted for the same thing as Trump, well, couldn't we say that the Cohen conviction was to keep him out? No, the Cohen conviction was because he did it.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what's interesting though, Roland, about that, and forgive me, Lauren, for just bringing this up. As you say, it was Trump's Department of Justice. That Cohen, in retrospect, particularly if he goes after his political enemies, in other words, if he goes after Cheney, if he goes after Benny Thompson and whoever the hell he wants, perhaps we saw a little bit of a preview with the Cohen prosecution, because at that point, Cohen was a political enemy of Donald Trump. I'm just saying, thinking about it in retrospect, that might, because I'm telling you right now, two things. Number one, they are going to appeal this, and that evidentiary violation that the Supreme Court referred to in the New York State court may end up back in federal court, because he's arguing, as he did before the Supreme Court, his lawyers before the Supreme Court did with this case, he's arguing basically the defense that he thinks is available to him because of U.S. versus Trump. When you're the president, they let you do it. And regardless of the fact of what you said, which is he did this before he was president. Now, that's, again, going to flesh out what it means to have a sitting president in the crosshairs. But since you raised that, I hadn't thought about that. But since that was 2018, right? It might be that the political logic behind pursuing that prosecution of Cohen was because he was a political enemy of Trump. I don't know. And that may preview what we're going to see in the next 4 years.
Bottom line.
But when they appeal, Greg, when they appeal, he is going to be sitting on Pennsylvania Avenue by the time we get to the. So then we go back to.
Hold on. We said they appeal. Will they appeal what?
Well, obviously, whatever happens tomorrow. He's probably going to appeal whatever happens.
Right. So he's right. No. I'm saying he's currently, for the purpose of the audience, he's currently appealing the conviction. You're saying after tomorrow, he then will appeal the sentencing.
Yeah. So I'm saying, whatever Marshawn decides, assuming that Marshawn gives him some time, which who knows what he'll do, but let's say he gives him some time, there'll probably be an appeal. Then he'll be a sitting president by the time that's decided. And then we're back to the Roberts Court handing him again. You know what I mean? It's like it goes back circularly to going back to what you said. Equal justice under law, which we know does not exist. And by the way, with 11 days left, where is the pardon of Marilyn Mosby, by the way? What is going on with the Biden White House?
Well, first of all, hold on. That's a whole separate story. That's a whole separate. No. I don't. What I'm saying is, I want to stay on topic. I'm staying on topic. But I'm staying on topic. Let me go back to my iPad. The point we made earlier, and this is why I think it's important what the Supreme Court did, what they're doing. And let's also be clear, this is not uncommon. What the Supreme Court is saying right here is that when they say the alleged evidentiary violations at President-elect Trump's state court trial can be addressed in the ordinary course on appeal. What the Supreme Court is saying right here is, why is your punk ass coming to us when you have not exhausted all of your appeals in New York State? The law is the law, that there's an appeals process. What Trump wanted to, so for everybody who's listening, who's watching the show, there are different levels in New York State. The New York Appeals Court has already ruled. Correct me if I'm wrong, Greg, the New York State Supreme Court has not ruled on this. So what the U.S. Supreme Court is saying is, bruh, stop trying, what do they say when they're in the video gaming? You want a cheat code? Donald Trump, the cheat code Trump wanted was, I want to skip the whole appeals process and go right to the Supreme Court before Inauguration Day. And they're saying is, no, your ass got to sit your ass down, file the process. So equal justice under law. This is no different when the Supreme Court says I forgot the case, Greg. It was one of the death penalty cases where they said you have not exhausted all of your appeals. Oh, yeah. So the Supreme Court is the last stop, is the last legal stop. So all they're saying is, hey, Donald, ain't no cheat code player. You got to go through the process. Now, it doesn't mean, to Laura's point, it doesn't mean that after he exhausts his New York State appeals and then he goes to the Supreme Court, that Roberts and or Barrett will then rule the same.
That's right.
All they're saying here is, no cheat code player. You got to go through the process over there. Trump, though, what he doesn't want, the last thing he wants, no matter what the judge says tomorrow, he doesn't even want there to be a sentencing. He's trying to short circuit everything. And so that's really what this is all about. But I'm going to go back to the other point, and that's very simple. Republicans, and let me real kill it. It does not matter if there was a strong case or a weak case. The Republicans believe no cases.
Right.
I've never heard a single Republican say, well, you know what? That case in Georgia is a really, really strong case. They have been saying, how dare you? He didn't cheat. How dare you? Jeff Duncan, the former lieutenant governor, the lieutenant governor of Georgia at the time he did it, they just expelled him from the Republican Party because he said it was wrong. So the Republican Party don't believe in none of these four cases. They didn't want to see Tish James hit him in civil court. Matter of fact, let's roll it back. They didn't want them to sue when it came to his foundation. They didn't. So there's no, for them, there's no such thing as strong case versus weak case. They've said all the cases are political. All of them should never have been filed. They don't want any legal action taken against Trump. And that's just simply how they're responding. And so we can sit here and say, well, what was stronger, what was weaker, all of that. Of course, I also felt that this, out of the four, was the weakest. But guess what?
But Roland, do you actually think that, let's say Donald Trump was still a real estate developer in New York, do you think that all these cases, obviously the documents case wouldn't have been brought because he wouldn't have been president, but something like the business records case, the case that's going to be adjudicated tomorrow, sentenced tomorrow, do you think that would have been brought if he was not president? There's a name. First of all, of the four cases, let's remember, two of them dealt with the overthrowing of the election. Right. So those wouldn't have existed if he wasn't president. Those would not have existed. Right. The classified documents case would not exist. Right.
But you mentioned the overinflating of the assets.
Or E. Jean Carroll. Do we think that E. Jean Carroll would have happened? It was Roberta Kaplan.
No. Let me tell you something right now. Yes. First of all, there have been other men. Okay, let's just go to Weinstein. Let's go to other. There have been other men convicted in criminal court. Wait a minute. Just right in Ireland. What's that? The crazy ass boxer. What's the white dude? He fought Floyd Mayweather.
Jake Paul.
No, not Jake Paul. Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor was just found guilty in a civil courtroom for sexual assault. That happened in Ireland. So that those things happen. But I'm gonna bring up, on the whole point about Trump deal, there's a person I'm gonna bring up, and I know this personally because he's from Texas. He was a Democrat. He was the Attorney General of Texas. His name is Dan Morales. Dan Morales was actually convicted. He was convicted. I'm gonna pull up the DOJ. He pled guilty to mail fraud and filing a false tax return. This is the press release. This is in 2003. He admitted that he backdated official government contracts and forged government records for his personal enrichment and that of his friends. But that's not only what he did. They also, right here, the second paragraph, it says right here, he committed tax fraud by lying about his income. So what they got him on filling out documents, I think it was loan or housing documents, where he overstated his income. This is perfect. I kept bringing this up. These things actually happen. So what Donald Trump what he got nailed on, and let me also add one thing for the people who don't understand this here. Donald Trump got nailed in Scotland for the same thing. What Donald Trump did was he overinflated. This is how he tried to get away with it. And the folks in Scotland nailed his ass. Donald Trump, for tax purposes, claimed the value of his golf course was one thing. When it was time to pay taxes, he said the course was valued at a lower. And the Scot said, hold up. Whoa, we confused here. Over here, you said the golf course was valued at this for you to get the loans to buy it and build it. But when it comes to pay taxes, now you claiming the golf course is this. So yes, there have been people like Donald Trump who have been found guilty for the exact same thing that he did, regardless of him being in the Oval Office. Now, that's just a reality. So I'm using a perfect example. A former Attorney General of the state of Texas, who they nailed him because he hooked up his friends when it came to the tobacco settlements. But the federal government sent his ass to prison because he filled out loan papers. People don't understand. When you go fill out a loan application, that is a federal document. They can get your ass on that. And let's not forget, they got Al Capone on tax evasion.
Tax evasion, yeah.
So the federal government has gotten developers, business folk. I mean, I just finished watching the documentary on how they got Michael Milken and Ivan Boesky on insider trading. I mean, so the bottom line is they can get your ass, when you break the law, they can find a law your ass broke. So there are a lot of people who have not been in the Oval Office who've gotten convicted on the same stuff. Did it get the same amount of attention? No, it didn't. But yeah, Lauren, it actually has happened.
Yeah, when I see Reid Hoffman and Roberta Kaplan converge, and I know that's a civil case, and knowing that Trump has been around for so long, and we've known that he's, filed, 5 bankruptcies. I just feel like, wow, isn't that interesting that, particularly with the hush money case, it's sort of like, that's an interesting case that they brought. But okay.
But you also got to remember, you can't leave out The DA before Bragg was Cyrus Vance.
Yeah.
Cyrus Vance chose not to prosecute Trump on several occasions. What is the difference here? Different DA. He was buddy-buddy with Cyrus Vance. So, I mean, look, the reality is this here. Different prosecutor, different attitude when it comes to going after it. And you know what? To your point, there were previous attorney generals in New York State who likely were buddy-buddy with Trump.
Oh.
Until Tish James showed up. So, that's just sort of how I look at that.
Hi, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Fanbase is a free to download, free to use, next generation social media platform that allows anyone to have followers and subscribers on the same page. Fanbase was built through investment dollars from equity crowdfunding from the Jobs Act. People just like you help build Fanbase. And we're looking for more people to help build Fanbase. We are currently raising $17 million in a Regulation A crowdfund on Start Engine. We've already crossed $2.1 million, but we're looking to raise more capital from people just like you that deserve the opportunity to invest in early stage startups without having to be accredited investors. So right now, I'd like you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase right now, today. And then use Fanbase to connect with friends, grow your audience, and be you without limits.